Hey folks, long time no see. How's it going? How is it going, everyone? Oh, hang on one second. I need to get rid of voice meter banana. 1 second. Alright, there we go. Bit of a false start there, sorry. I can't actually start Path of Exile while voice meter banana's running. It's some weird interaction of the program. So, yeah, that was fun. Okay, so I'm here. Yeah, first time in what, 2 weeks? Man, babies. They be getting me. They be getting me down. Man. It's amazing how a little 20-pound girl can absolutely just kick my ass. Woo! Yeah, she's not sleeping, but as per usual, my wife has been very good about letting me sleep. So, let's see. What am I gonna do? I need to delete a character and create a new one. I will delete Bubonic Bonnie. Sorry, darling. You had a run. You had a good run. So yeah, today it is a fresh start. It's a fresh start for the stream. So I'll be making a new character. Gonna make a strength stacking juggernaut. Let's see. Because I found a super wicked pillar of the caged god. Or I say found. I actually traded for one. I was just kind of like looking at a whim. Let's see. What's this guy's name gonna be? We're gonna use Tectonic Slam. There we go. Tech Slam Jim Jam. Hell yeah, nobody's taking that. Freaking love it. Skip them tutorials. Let's go bash heads. So yeah, this is gonna be a strength stacking juggernaut. And my last character was quite good. Very much a glass cannon, though. It was an ice shot occultist. And I think it was going places. I think it was going to be really, like, good long term. But it was going to require a lot of investment. And I just didn't want to do that. I'd rather put the investment into this character. This is one that I think I actually kind of want to push far. I've made a fair amount of currency this game, so I think, or this league. So I think I might kind of leverage that and make this a pretty tough character. I don't know, I'll probably end up with a budget of like 20 divines or something, which is a shitload for me. But yeah, looking forward to this, and this is like something that Crucible allows, like because the Crucible tree on my pillar is crazy. Basically doubles the damage. Yeah, get stunned, Hillick. You a dick. So the other thing that we're going to talk about today is a really cool heart surgery case that I was a part of. So there's lots of stuff going on with that. And it's kind of one of those things that, you know, there's a lot of like, that's a weird situation. I have to think through this. It's, you know, very, very non-standard, and, you know, the patient was really sick, and... Jeez. Whew. My lungs are... They're out to get me. They're out to get me, guys. Ah, die! There we go. That would have been a real bad luck if I died to Hillick. I don't think anybody's under any impression that, any illusion that I'm good at this game, but that's real bad. do this. So hopefully you guys can hear all the audio is okay. Yeah, looks like it's okay. Cool. Perfect. I never know. I always, whenever I update my computer, it tends to break the audio. So I don't like that very much. All right, let's get all the stuff that I've stored for you, my barbarian friend. Excuse me, marauder friend. Heaven forbid I call him a barbarian. Alright, do I want those? Or do I want these? I think the life regen is actually going to be better. And the flat chaos damage too is huge early on. I did not realize until just now that Lethal Pride jewels, or I wonder if that's all timeless jewels. But I didn't realize they had no level requirement. That's kind of cool. Tab. Add-on. Oh, wait, where's my other one? I have one that has 4 sockets already. Where the hell is it? Oh, there it is. It's not looking right. Let's see, anything else that I need to get out of here? I level 84. Let's put an essence on it. See what happens. Strength. Yep. Boop. That doesn't seem good. More of that. Okay, those are all bricks. Perfect. That's my crafting bases tab. Alright, let's see. Where's all, yeah, these are all gems. You know, I don't know that I got a travel skill in here. Interesting. Might have to go to my hideout right quick. Thought I had this all set up, but alas, I do not. Purchase items. Let's see. Deep slam. Boop. And faster attacks. Hey, what's up, man? 18 months straight. Look at you. How's it going? How's life? I appreciate the support, as always. Super duper cool, man. Our relationship is longer than my newborn. It is. It is. However, it does not keep me awake as much as my newborn. Or maybe I wish it did. Oh, look, heroic reward. What do I get? Molten Strike. Ground Slam! Give me some Ground Slam, baby. Let's fucking go. Okay. Unfortunately, I do not have a weapon.
I am surrounded by
Oh, God, man. Ah. Allergies, too. It's been allergy season as well, so that's not helping me out. I have some super nice drainage going on. It's great. Alright, that needs to be Ground Slam. Yes. Such a satisfying skill. Our relationship is longer than my newborn. Yeah. And it will continue to be. That's the crazy part. She can't ever catch up. She's always going to be second best. Sucks for her. You can't see me yet? There, now you can see me. Hi. Hello. I moved my Discord over over my like OBS thing, like control panel. Couldn't tell where I was. Oh well, you just missed me gearing up a baby Juggernaut. No big deal. Oh my god, I'm so slow. I got used to my like 4.5 attacks per second bow character. This is not that. Will be though. Wow, that was a hell of a scream. I like it. Oh, I guess I need to go get scrolls. I always forget all this shit when I start a new character. It makes me really wonder how people who race do that. Those people are insane. They're so good at this game. And all the like little teeny nuances that they just have to do perfectly. I'll take that. And what do I want? That looks like that will go nicely.
Goodbye.
Got a job. Stay sharp out there.
Alright, let's see. We're on our way. On our way to stacking strength, even though we have no strength just yet. Or I stand corrected, we have 32 strength. No strength on the tree. Okay. What were the things that I needed there? So let's see. Man, I thought I was all good to go. And now I'm like, wait, so many things are out of place. I think I might be dying. I'm pretty sure I'm actually dying. Let's see. Okay, I need one of these. I need a plain pillar, because the one that I juiced up is no longer level 13. It's like level 65 or something. That one? That might be in my Elementalist's inventory or something. Okay. How about this? You go there. Those are all higher level. It's a pretty good amulet. For pretty much anything, really. Okay, and I have Meganorts in there. That's level 8. I'll go ahead and hang on to that. Astromentis, there we go. That's the one that I was thinking of. Alright, rock and roll. Alright, so we're set up. Let's talk nerdy medicine, shall we? That took a minute. But yeah, it's nerdy medicine time. So I wanted to talk about a case that I did recently. Because that's... I don't know, just seems like a good thing to talk about, because it's kind of one of those cases it's like... There's so much shit going on that, you know, like I was having to think about it, and things were changing constantly. It seems like everybody likes heart surgery. It was a heart surgery, right? That's just like one of those, ooh, ah, like, oh my god, heart surgery. Kind of, I don't know, just seems like it has one of, it's like this nebulous, you know, thing that nobody really understands. And it's kind of that way in healthcare too, really. Like all the heart surgery is outstanding, I agree. Cardiothoracic surgeons are sort of like in a league of their own, honestly. Just ask them, they'll tell you. But, yeah, it's sort of its own, like, little universe. Yeah, it is definitely super cool to see in real life, and we'll actually check that out on stream. I don't know if Twitch likes that or not, but it's gonna happen, so... Sorry, Twitch administration, please don't ban me. This is educational, damn it. So yeah, a little background. For anybody who's watching this, I'm an anesthesiologist, and we talk about cases like this and medical current events and all that sort of stuff. So, I didn't have a particular topic in mind, but I thought this might be kind of neat to go through. Yeah, so yeah, seeing the inside of somebody's chest is definitely really weird. Having your hand in there is even weirder. And like to do that for a living is just crazy. Those guys train so much, man. So a cardiothoracic fellowship, or let's say this a different way, cardiothoracic training requires 5 years of general surgery residency and 3 years of fellowship. So it's 8 years of training. And then if you want to do pediatrics, I think it's at least another year. I think it might be another 2 years. So you're like, you literally don't have a job until like your late 30s. It's just batshit, man. But, you know, you want the people who are literally cutting your heart apart and putting it back together to kind of have a pretty good idea of what they're doing, right? And the guy, we actually hired a new heart surgeon recently, and he has basically done, I mean, he's, you know, getting paid and stuff, like he's getting paid like a full-time employee, but he's essentially working under our existing surgeon. Like, we only had one surgeon. And so the new guy's kind of coming in and sort of like doing an apprenticeship, basically, even though he's paid as a full-time doc. And I mean, he's perfectly capable, but, you know, you still, like, there's lots to learn. Because even with that much training, you just don't have the reps that you need to be, like, fully independent, and there's lots of tricks of the trade and all that sort of stuff. So, so anyway, yeah, we did this, kind of weird procedure where nobody really knew exactly what was going on, including the surgeon. Like, we were all just kind of flying by the seat of our pants, honestly, because we didn't know what to expect. And sometimes that happens. Like, that sounds really bad, but that happens pretty often when there's just kind of weird shit going on and nobody's entirely sure what's happening. So what had happened with this patient is she was in her 70s, and she had a pacemaker that got infected. And so generally when you have a pacemaker, it's up in your chest, and obviously it attaches to your heart, so it can, you know, like, change the electrical rhythms of your heart, like actually supply electricity to your heart, so that it beats right, or in a desired way. And so they were thinking that like we prepared as though we were going to have to do a full-on heart surgery, which we ultimately did. But the surgeon was like, you know, there's a chance that I can just go in there and pull out the leads. They'll just, like, slide right out. And I say the leads are the things that, like, attach to your heart from the pacemaker device. And he was like, yeah, you know, we might get lucky, and we can just, like, slide these bitches out and, you know, like, kind of wash out the area, take off some of the tissue that's, like, obviously infected, and then just, like, move on with their lives. It's not going to be a big deal. And so this particular pacemaker had 4 leads, and he pulled out the first 2, no problem. And then the other 2 were hardcore stuck, like super stuck. And so we had to, you know, like I said, end up going through with the whole shebang. And that's heart surgery for, like, anesthesia-wise is pretty rote. Like, you sort of have a like a standard setup that you do. You kind of just prepare, then go to war, and you have everything. And that way there's, like, nothing that's really gonna get in your way. So that it didn't really, like, change our plan at all. You know, like, we were already set up for everything that we were gonna need for the biggest heart surgery that you could do. Had all of our medications ready, and we talked about central lines last time I streamed, so we had our central line in place, and we were ready to go. So that was, you know, and that's what we were expecting, so it was no big deal. But there were lots of complicating factors with this case, so this is why it was interesting. So first off, this lady had basically every autoimmune condition known to man. like she had lots of different stuff. So the ones that were of particular note for us were rheumatoid arthritis. She had a condition called scleroderma, which we'll talk about a little bit, and also had lupus. So those things are, you know, and she had another condition that's often linked with autoimmune disease, which is called Raynaud's disease. That's a little bit more common, and it does this weird thing where, like, the vessels in your hands, the blood vessels in your hands, just sort of like contract for no real reason, and you get these weird patterns of, like, you know, white and cold hands. It's really strange. I'll show you in just a second as soon as this guy stops throwing shit at me. There we go. So, Raynaud's disease. Or phenomenon, excuse me. So this is what it looks like. Let's see, can we enlarge that? Yeah. So it's just like weird, random vasoconstriction in your hands. So this matters because, so triggered by cold temperatures, anxiety, or stress, surgery is a huge stressor, right? That is a massive stress on your body. And these people are kind of like, sort of have like poor circulation anyway, or unpredictable circulation. So where this matters is pulse oximetry. So we had a really difficult time getting an oxygen reading on this lady. So she also just kind of like generally had some vascular disease, which doesn't help. So we had difficulty getting it. Like, we tried pulse ox on her nose, on her ears, on her feet. Like, we just like couldn't get anything. And I think eventually we got it to work on her toes, on like her big toe. But that's a huge deal. Like, sometimes you can sort of limp by with this, you know, a kind of questionable monitor. But heart surgery is not one of those times. Any of those cause cardiac inflammation, which may have contributed to the stuck leads? They do indeed. Scleroderma does exactly that. So while we're here... Yeah, that's a great question. So scleroderma does indeed. So, as you see here from the NIH, connective tissue and rheumatic disease that causes inflammation in the skin and other areas of the body. And those areas include your heart, your lungs, your esophagus, lots of, like, pretty much anything. So Crest syndrome is symptoms of scleroderma. So calcinosis, which is like little hard bumps in your skin, Raynaud's, esophageal dysfunction, so like reflux and difficulty, like this says decreased motility, whoops. But in practice, that means the patient will have difficulty swallowing. And she did. That will be important in just a second. So, sclerodactyly, which is like, you kind of get, you know, claw hand sort of stuff. And then red marks on your body. So those are kind of the common sort of like talking point things. What's the buzzword? Those are buzzwords for scleroderma. And she had like all of that. So she actually had fairly advanced scleroderma. And that was a concern because normally for heart surgery, we place something called a transesophageal echocardiogram probe. And basically that's just an ultrasound that goes in your esophagus. So like if you've ever seen somebody have an EGD, like an upper GI scope, it's kind of like that, except for the GI scope is actually a camera, and the TEE is what we call it for short, is an ultrasound probe. So if you have sort of a, you know, hardened, like rigid esophagus, it's a higher risk for rupture. And so given that she had advanced autoimmune disease, lupus as well, I was pretty concerned about putting a probe in her. And so I had talked with the heart surgeon beforehand, was like, hey man, like she's got advanced scleroderma. Can we get away without having a TEE in place? And he was like, sure. You know, wasn't like super thrilled with that idea, but went along with it. And so we didn't use one, which is, as I mentioned, generally speaking, a, you know, standard, well, fairly typical monitor for a heart case. But, you know, we talked about it and we were like, yeah, probably risks outweigh benefits, especially since it's possible that we won't even, you know, do this as a true heart surgery. You know, we might just like slide these leads right out and no big deal. Because normally we would place that TE before the surgery like really got underway. That would just be part of like the anesthesia setup, if that makes sense. So, the other thing that is important here, so I mentioned that she had rheumatoid arthritis as well. So she had very limited neck mobility and couldn't open her jaw very well. So she was a difficult airway. So we had to bust out all of our, this thing. It's a video laryngoscope. So it basically, that had a good, this is exactly, man, my internet is not exactly blasting today. There. So that's kind of what it looks like. So that's what your vocal cords look like. That's an exceptionally good view of them, obviously. But basically you just put this in somebody's mouth, and there's a little camera right there on the end of it, and it shows you what you're looking at on that screen. So we use this, and also something called a bougie, which is basically just a plastic rod with kind of a little curve on it. And we got her breathing tube in, but it was actually like really hard. And so the reason it's so hard is that people with rheumatoid arthritis, like I said, have some neck stiffness, but you also are at very high risk for injuring their neck. Like you can break their neck pretty easily because they start getting, like their vertebrae start fusing, kind of like almost like they had a condition called ankylosing spondylitis, which is where all of your vertebrae start like literally fusing. But yeah, they can get big like bone spurs. Those like their neck vertebrae can, you know, become one, and so you can like paralyze somebody theoretically if you move their neck around too much. Like normally we would extend their neck back like that, but you can't really do that. Somebody who has RA real bad. So so that was fun. Man, I guess I'm just gonna cough through the whole stream. Sorry guys. So yeah, that was very challenging, and we sort of expected that. It's like she couldn't open her mouth very much and couldn't move her neck around, so we were like, fuck, well, I guess that's coming. So, like, we've got difficult airway, heart surgery that we don't really know about. You know, and another thing, I mentioned that we had a central line in her, right? So normally we put, the culture at my hospital is to put 2 central lines in each heart. And one of them is like a large bore, like volume line, like holy shit, we need to slam blood in this person as fast as freaking possible kind of thing. And the other one is what we call a triple lumen central line, which is smaller and more designed for, I don't want to say like long-term, but sort of like medium-term use, you know, like over a week or something, while a patient's in the hospital and recovering. It's not like something, you can get something called a PICC line, which is actually like an IV that usually goes like here in your arm, and that can last for weeks or months even. So like if you need long-term antibiotics or something, people get PICC lines. But a triple lumen central line is basically just like 3 IVs in one, like 3 kind of larger IVs in one that go right next to your heart. Pretty much it. So they take out the large bore access, which is you know, just sort of unnecessary after the surgery itself is done, and leave the triple lumen in. So, because of how this surgery was going to go, assuming that we had to get into this patient's heart, which, again, we did, ultimately. So her device, her pacemaker, was over in her left chest. So the typical places that we would put a central line are either subclavian, which is like under your collarbone on either side, or in your internal jugular vein. So basically in your neck on either side. And generally, I do the right side. So they were going to put the, well, back up a step. So when you're getting heart surgery, most of the time they'll do something called cardiac bypass, or cardiopulmonary bypass. And what that is basically they suck blood out of your vena cava, which is the biggest vein in your body, and they put it back into your aorta, which is the biggest artery in your body that comes right off your heart. And they do that so they can bypass your lungs and your heart so that the surgeon has a, you know, bloodless or nearly bloodless field to work in. And there's not, like, your heart's not beating. They give you, like, some medication to stop your heart beating. It's basically just high potassium IV solution. It makes your heart stop beating so the surgeon can work. And that's bypass. So they were going to do the bypass, like, on the right side, in her right subclavian, and also vena cava. So I couldn't put lines there because there was going to be the bypass cannulas there, which are huge, by the way. They're like finger-sized. So I couldn't use her right side. I couldn't use her left subclavian because that's where her device was. So I put, like, I found the central line that was kind of like short and stubby and put it in her left neck, and I wasn't even sure that that was going to work. And I asked the surgeon, I was like, you know, is this going to work? Like, can you work around this? And he was like, I don't know. And so I offered to put in femoral central lines, but this lady was morbidly obese and also had a giant yeast infection, like, under her pannus, like, under her gut, basically, like, all through her, like, groin and stomach area. She had a huge yeast infection. So I wasn't super excited about, you know, basically forcing that into her bloodstream. So is it possible to give anti-inflammatories near the heart to mitigate the inflammation? That's not something that would really do anything. So yes is the answer, but that really wouldn't, like, help in the short term. Like, usually these people, and she's no exception, she was on a bunch of steroids, which probably didn't help her infection situation very much. But most of these people are on chronic, like, anti-inflammatories or, like, immune suppressants of some kind. But yeah, you can definitely give anti-inflammatories acutely, but unfortunately, most of those come with some sort of side effect that's probably undesirable in heart surgery. Like, some of them temporarily inhibit platelets, and that's not great. Or in the case of aspirin, permanently inhibit platelets. I don't know that IV aspirin even exists, though, so we probably wouldn't give that. But in any event, yeah, so I was kind of stuck, right? I basically had that, like, one place to put a central line in, and wasn't entirely sure that was going to work. And you definitely don't want to do a heart without a central line. That's just, like, fucking dangerous. Because if anything at all goes south, you're really hurting for access. And a lot of the meds that you give, you pretty much have to give centrally. Like, if you give somebody medicines that raise their blood pressure through like peripheral IV, it, like, constricts all their blood vessels kind of, like, preferentially. So, like, you're giving all that medicine, say, in somebody's hand. If they've got an IV in their hand, that medicine goes to their hand first, right? So all of the blood vessels in their hand are going to clamp down, and you could actually, like, kill someone's hand that way. I've seen it happen several times. Like, you literally make their hand die because it doesn't, like, all the blood vessels clamp down and they can't get the blood flow that they need. So yeah, you definitely want central access, so that sort of thing happens to the giant blood vessels that you're really looking to constrict, instead of the ones that are, like, downstream. Let's see. Ancestral Protector. Boom. What else can I use? Faster attacks is level 1? What? When did that happen? Or level 8? Huh. I thought faster attacks was level 18. Weird. Okay. Anyway, moving on. So yeah, central access was a big problem for her. But yeah, I chose like a large bore central line that had this like little tiny catheter. Like I think it was supposed to be a dialysis line. I'd never used it before, or at least that I can recall. But like it seemed to work. I don't think it got down into the like you know, the area where he was working. So we get in there and like we're doing the surgery, you know, central line's working okay, we got her intubated, and you know, everything's fine. She's actually pretty stable. You know, life is good basically. She's a very sick lady. She had a whole bunch of other stuff too, like she had some breathing issues, and you know, we got our pulse ox working at long last. That took like an hour. I mean, there was a very substantial chunk of this surgery where we didn't have a reliable, like, continuous pulse ox just because we couldn't get one to work. So we were drawing her blood basically periodically just to make sure that, you know, everything was cool, and you know, obviously paying like a lot of attention to her coloration and stuff like that. But yeah, fortunately, you have access to people called perfusionists, who are the ones who run the bypass machine. And so we were just kind of like handing off blood to them so they could run labs for us pretty much continuously throughout the case. And, you know, she was fine. And then finally, like by some stroke of luck, the pulse ox on her toe started working. So anyway, we're moving along. We went on bypass. They got the leads out of the heart. Because they were like super adhesed in there, and like as you say, her autoimmune disease probably did not help with that. Like, you know, I think they were secured in there intentionally because, you know, pacemakers are supposed to last for, you know, years, decades even. So that was, you know, that's good that they were in securely, but you know, also when they get infected and you're trying to remove them, that, you know, it's sort of a bummer. But anyway, they were in pretty tight, and you know, the surgeon got them out and everything was cool, and we were coming off pump. That's like, they call the bypass machine the pump. So coming off pump is pretty much the most dangerous part of a heart surgery. Because that's like a lot of different things can happen. So like that's where, you know, you try to basically like wake up the patient's heart after you've stopped it. You know, and you're testing out the surgery that you did basically to make sure, you know, that all of the like blood vessels you attached and all of the repairs you made are gonna hold. And also you know, because of all the meds that the patient got and everything, like they can have some crazy blood pressure swings, and like sometimes their heart suffers and doesn't quite wake up the way you want, and that's super dangerous, and you've got to account for that and, you know, assist them through that basically. So that's the rocky part. So we start coming off bypass, and she's just not having it. Like, we can't keep her pressure up. You know, she's not like bleeding massively or anything, but it's just like not looking good. So, you know, we're giving her all these medications and stuff, trying to keep her blood pressure up, and you know, you can enter this situation where you sort of circle the drain pretty quickly, where like the blood pressure's not high enough, and therefore like her heart's not getting the blood flow it needs, so it doesn't pump. And when it doesn't pump, your blood pressure drops, and et cetera, et cetera. And so you get in a vicious cycle of like, you know, heart failure essentially. And that's sometimes kind of tough to get out of. But fortunately, she, like, you know, didn't just like straight up crash on us. She was just kind of like quickly dwindling. Oh god. Stop it. So we, like, I had another conversation with the surgeon. He was like, you know, those leads were in there pretty hard. I wonder if we damaged part of her heart. Like, I wonder if she had a valve that got damaged. So I was like, well, shit. I guess we'll have to have a look. So I went and got the TE machine, like the big ultrasound, and put that probe down her throat that I, you know, wanted to try to avoid. Fortunately, it went smoothly. It was fine. But we looked at it, and her tricuspid valve was just like not doing anything. And I'll show you what that looks like. So we'll have a quick heart ultrasound real quick. Fuck man, indeed, yeah. So let's talk heart anatomy. So this is your tricuspid valve. So this is the valve from your right atrium, which is the blood where the blood comes back. This is your right ventricle, which pumps blood to your lungs. That's your mitral valve, or excuse me, that's your aortic valve. That's your mitral valve. So your mitral is between the left atrium, left ventricle. Aortic valve is the one between your heart and the rest of your body, basically. So let's be more specific than that. There. That's great, actually. That's a great view. Let's look at that. Ah, you bitch. You're gonna make me click through all this shit. Okay. So when you put color, you put Doppler across these things. There we go. That's better. So you can see here. So that's a tricuspid valve right there. This is the septum. That's like the wall between your heart chambers. This is your mitral valve right here. So this is what it looks like when blood is going towards the probe. So orange is towards the probe, blue is away from the probe. So your right atrium, so the valve is here to prevent backflow, right? So normally this would kind of go, you can sort of see a hole right here. Normally this would go up in here, and that's your pulmonic, like your pulmonary vein. Or excuse me, your pulmonary artery. We do an echo before the heart surgery. So she'd had a transthoracic echo, and she did have some tricuspid regurgitation beforehand, but it was not like this. So I did not do a transesophageal echo for the reasons we talked about earlier. I was worried about rupturing her esophagus because she had like all of the esophageal symptoms, like I can't swallow. She had also had a syndrome called Sjogren's syndrome, which is basically where all of your mucous membranes are super dry. Also autoimmune. And so like I thought that, you know, placing the TEE was going to be just really dangerous for her. So I wanted to avoid it. But then when we kind of got into the shit coming off pump, you know, I was like, well, we got to figure out what's going on. She does have every syndrome ever. She did, which is part of why this is really interesting. And like all of those things are very much like anesthesia relevant. You know, a lot of times people have a bunch of like weird zebra shit that doesn't really affect, you know, your anesthetic. But in this case, like everything fell, you know, in a fashion where this was like really important for me. But so a normal heart has none of this orange. Like when you put color on it, it will pretty much look like this. There might be like a wisp coming through because, you know, biologic systems are not 100% perfect, right? So even a healthy valve can leak a little bit. But That is real bad, and that's pretty much what hers looked like. It was just wide open regurgitation. So, like, every time her right heart pumped, instead of going forward through her lungs to get reoxygenated, all of her blood just, like, went backwards. Or a substantial portion of her blood went backwards, like, backflowed. And that was causing her pressure to tank and causing her right heart to really struggle. Because basically it was having to pump, you know, much, much harder to even get anywhere near, like, what its normal forward flow would be. But yeah, basically they injured the tricuspid valve because like one of the leads was anchored into it. There was no way to avoid that, as far as I can tell. If we ended the surgery, how long could she have lived with the fucked up valve? She, in the condition that she was in, she probably wouldn't have made it out of the OR. Because her pressure was just like going down, and she would have gone into heart failure really quickly. Yeah, she would have gone into heart failure very quickly, probably within an hour. I would say she'd just go, like, have an arrhythmia and die, most likely. Because she wasn't moving any blood forward at all. Like, all of it was just backflowing. So, they went in and replaced her tricuspid valve. And they put an artificial valve in her. I don't think they were planning on doing that at all. But because they tried to repair it. They tried to do basically a thing where they just sort of like pull the valve together and like try to get it to like all of the leaflets to kind of close as they should, but that wasn't working, and so they just put a new valve in. But yeah, that was super cool. So they did this. And it like immediately did better. The crazy thing about valve surgeries is like this is a definitive fix, right? It's not like you know, like compare it to a different heart surgery. So it's not like a bypass where like, you know, you get blood flow back to your heart and it's like, yeah, you know what, I feel like maybe I have a little bit more energy. Like this you can see. So her blood pressure went from like kind of circling the toilet to like normal, basically. Like her heart function wasn't great to begin with. I think she was at like 1/3 capacity roughly. So a normal ejection fraction, they call it, which is how much blood gets squirted out of your heart per stroke, is 60%. So 60% of the blood that's actually in your left ventricle gets squeezed out. And so a common question is, why is it not 100%? It's not like taking antidepressants. Exactly. Yeah, where it's like, maybe it worked? I don't know. Or like, you gotta wait for like months to figure it out, you know, to like, for some physiologic change to happen. Like, you're making that physiologic change. But yeah, so you don't want your heart to eject everything in it, because then squeezing harder doesn't do anything. Right? You can't eject more than everything. So that's actually sort of like a, you know, evolutionary safeguard kind of thing, to where, you know, if you exercise or your heart's under demand, you know, for some reason, like, it can squeeze harder and eject more blood. So yeah, normal EF is 60%. Hers was like 20, which is really bad. That's really, really bad. Yeah, so it went back to her normal, and you know, your body does adapt to that sort of stuff pretty well, you know, over years. Like I said, she was 70 years old, so her body had a fair amount of time to, you know, kind of adjust to the fact that her heart sucked.
Strength isn't everything.
Strength isn't everything. How's she doing now? Well, she's alive, which is good. She's still in the ICU. This was earlier this week, in fact. I mean, she's doing okay. You know, she's recovering. But yeah, so when you put a new valve in somebody, it's just like instant. And really, like, even more notable than that is the aortic valve replacements. So when you replace somebody's aortic valve, It is an unbelievable change. Because, like, that's... I would say that's the one that, like, your body adapts most to physiologically. Like, you're in... If you have, like, a stenosis of your aortic valve, so, like, blood's not getting squirted out of your heart the way that it should, your whole body changes. Like, all of your blood vessels clamp down to keep your blood pressure up. Because that's... maybe we should talk about aortic stenosis another time, because that's a really complicated process. But basically, all of your blood vessels have to constrict to make sure that your blood gets to your heart. Like, to make sure your heart gets blood flow. Top 50 case for me over my career? I don't know. Maybe. Yeah, I mean, it was pretty cool. It's one of the first that's actually, like, you know, sort of, like, challenged me to think in a while. Because, like, there are a lot of cases that are difficult because you're just, like, trying to keep up with, you know, somebody losing blood, or they're just, you know, not doing well or whatever. But this one was actually, it was, like, a lot more intellectual than most. Where we really had a lot of things to think through, and, you know, considerations changed throughout the case, and, you know, we had to really, like, think on our feet. And it was more like, and we weren't just, like, you know, slamming blood product in this lady or something, trying to keep up and, like, desperately, like, you know, heroically tying off blood vessels and all this shit that you see in, you know, like, medical dramas and whatnot. Like, we actually just kind of had to, like, put good medicine and physiology into practice, and it did wonders for it. Yeah, good working with the surgeon too, and also the perfusionist.
Is this your lab?
For sure. Like, everybody was all working together trying to, like, figure out exactly what was going on and what the best plan was. Yeah, it's always really satisfying when that happens. Because it's sort of easy to feel like you're on an island in anesthesia, because... so one of the things I actually like about heart surgeries is it is one of the few times where it's just sort of understood that you have to communicate with the surgeon. And everybody in the room is, like, on the same page. It's, you know, they're taking things very seriously, and they all sort of, like, you know what everybody else's role is and what that person needs to know. Whereas in, you know, other rooms, usually the, like, for instance, the scrub techs, like, you know, they're just like, whatever, anesthesia's up there, they'll fix that shit. You know, they don't, they're doing their thing, and that's fine, but they're just not in tune with everything else that's going on in the room. Whereas in heart surgery, I feel like that's different. Like, everybody's got a pretty good idea of, like, how what they're doing is going to affect everyone else who's there. Which is cool. It definitely makes for a much more, like, collegial environment. Yeah, definitely a good case. Definitely a really good case. Yeah. I just thought that was cool. Oh yeah, I was saying about aortic stenosis. So, like, a lot of the time when you replace somebody's aortic valve, especially if they've had, like, really long-standing stenosis, and therefore lots of, like, physiologic compensation for it, they'll like, their blood pressure will just absolutely skyrocket after you put that valve in, because their hearts get, like, super beefy and muscular because they're pumping against that, like, closed off valve. So think, like, you know, you've got your thumb over the hose, right? And then suddenly you just take your thumb off. Like, the flow is so much greater. And that's, like, exactly what you're doing. So you just suddenly take your thumb off, you know, off the heart, and the heart's, like, it's adapted to that thumb being there, and then it's just, like, slamming blood out of it. You know, like their ejection fraction is huge, and, like, their blood pressure goes through the roof, and you've got to, like, work pretty hard to like, lower their blood pressure. But the trick with that, I guess we're talking about aortic stenosis now. So the trick is their blood vessels have constricted so much that they actually have like a lower blood volume. So like a typical, they call it systemic vascular resistance. So like the resistance to flow in a normal circulatory system is like 1,000. So I have seen people with aortic stenosis who have 3 times that much resistance, which is a shitload. So an SVR of 3,000 is insane. Like, you will never, ever, ever see that in any other circumstance that I can think of, at least. And so, again, their circulatory system is like squeezed down so much that they actually have less blood. So if you try to lower their blood vessel or blood pressure by dilating their blood vessels, you can tank their pressure really easily. So you have to be very careful of that for obvious reasons. Sorry. Oh God, laughing. It is very difficult. But yeah, it becomes like a pretty difficult management problem quite quickly after you get that valve in. But yeah, it's physiology at work. Those are the cool cases where you can like see what you're doing in real time, and you know, switch things around and watch the difference that it makes. I think that's super cool. That's one of the things that I like the most about my job, is you can just like, you can see what you're doing make a difference pretty much all the time. You know, you just like push a med, you're like, oh, well, that changed. Oh, this person's way better now. You are welcome. Thanks for listening. Hope y'all enjoyed that story. Yeah, that is definitely one of the cooler cases I've done recently. Yeah, kind of the name of the game in anesthesia is like... Did I see the OpenAI neural net interpretation? No, I didn't. Wow. Each neuron in GPT-2. Oh. No. That's really cool. No, the most news that I've seen on OpenAI is that they had, like, you know, like, developing country workers working for, like, sub-minimum wage to program in their, you know, like, data results and stuff. Or their data feeds or some shit. I didn't really pay attention to it. Like, shocking, major company employs cheap labor. Go figure. Like, looking at brain. Specifically this one? Yeah. No, that's really cool. Man, that stuff is just gonna explode. All the AI uses, that is going to be so cool. What I like, one of the things that really strikes me about sort of the I don't know what the word would be, the incidence of AI, like the introduction of these AI programs, is you really see how creative people are. Like, all of the weird shit that people think of to do with them is just like, it's mind-blowing. You know, you kind of see that stuff on, like, if you're really looking for it, you can see it on, like, Reddit with, you know, just weird things that people do, like tracking down, you know, some random police file from years past, or, you know, solving all these cold cases, doing stuff like that, or, you know, just artists in general. The era of AI. Yes, that's kind of what I'm looking for. But yeah, it's gonna be a hotbed of creativity for a long time, where people are just like experimenting and coming up with like ways to break it and exploit it and just do all these weird projects. I think that's super cool because like interest is so high, right? That, you know, there's all of the creative juices will be flowing I think that's badass. Oh, that's exactly what I did not want to do. Whoops. I had one job. I had one freaking job, and it was to not put that point there. Fuck. Oh well. Ooh, here we go. Language models can explain neurons. Can explain neurons in language models. Okay, I thought I was misreading that. We use GPT-4 to automatically write explanations for the behavior of neurons in large language models. Uh-oh. What the hell is this? My friend sends me, can you see this? Sends me vaguely phallic images all the time, and I return the favor. Oh man, that's the guy I'm going to Comic-Con with. Love it. Let's see how it works. Methodology consists of running 3 steps on every neuron. Okay, yeah, this is gonna quickly get above my I scroll like halfway. This. Right there. Okay. Let's see. Many of our readers may be aware that Japanese consumers are quite fond of unique and creative Kit Kat products and flavors. What? Nestle Japan has come out with what can be described as not a new flavor, but a species of Kit Kat. Let's see. Various combinations of letters, female names. Okay. Higher layers are more abstract. Oh, okay. Well, that's kind of interesting. So, yeah. So you can kind of tell, like, as it kind of drills down here, you get more and more specific. Wow, that's pretty cool. Focused on short natural language explanations. Next sample to see other examples. Let's do it. Broad effort is underway to understand what really works in healthcare, perhaps leading to better value for dollars spent. Words related to currency and money. Okay. Mention of Americans in related terms. Huh. Okay. That makes less sense to me, I suppose. But I do think it's really cool how, like, as it goes down, it basically gets less and less abstract. And just sort of, like, hones in on the answers that it's going to put out. That's a very, I mean, it makes perfect sense. It's very machine-like, what's the word? Like, mechanical kind of, very, like, programmatic, I guess. Protocol-driven. Instead of, you know, kind of thinking like people do, where you sort of draw from experiences and kind of come to a conclusion immediately and just sort of do all of this, you know, in one step, basically, right? Sort of this weird iterative focus. Focused on short natural, let's see. Neurons can be highly polysemantic, representing many distinct concepts, or could represent single concepts that humans don't understand or have words for. Okay. Find and explain entire neural circuits, implementing complex behaviors with neurons and attention heads working together. Okay. This is cool. I love all this stuff. I really wish I knew more about it. I should get into here. I want to see another example. I should get more into no. More into like programming and just generally knowledge of tech. It's sort of a stupid thing to not be an expert in these days, I feel like. Or at least have a good educational background. This item ships free worldwide. Sequences of dots representing pauses or ellipses. The letters in words. Oh. Cool. Wow, that's cool. So it's basically like recognizing speech patterns. Wow. Huh. Trying to think like what that could be used for. I mean, you know, certainly like analysis of you know, testimony or something like that. OpenAI is making all the advancements. Okay, well, I mean, it certainly helps to have like all the money that you could possibly want.
The warden's free of it.
Ooh, what do we get? Kill, leap slam, vitality, intimidating cry. Let's go leap slamming.
Now that you've drained that passage, let's start warning.
It's hard to read research and know what's gonna happen because nobody knows. Yeah, well, that's exciting though, right? It's cutting edge.
Only the size of a bloody ox.
Yep, thank you. Do I have Molten Shell? Yeah, I was gonna say I already got a Molten Shell. I'll take an Ancestral Protector. And Steel Skin, I guess.
Farewell. Fairgraves was a good man.
You should join their team. Well, why don't you? Go get it, man. Life tap. I guess I'll take faster attacks. I need that anyway. Ooh, I can get Infernal Blow this early. Cool. Oh, I really want to make a Volcanic Fissure build. Alas. Alright. Let's rock that. Yay. Okay, so I've got Infernal Blow. Let's just get red and green. That's all I need. There we go. Red.
I'm not swift enough to
Wait, what? 21 decks. Bummer. But I guess I can get that there. Perfect. Yeah, that does seem like a really awesome place to be. I mean, I have to imagine everybody who's in, you know, software development is just like clamoring to get a piece of that, right? Like it's the future. Oh, I do have an Ancestral Protector already. Okay. Leap Slam, Ground Slam, Steel Skin. Don't really need those, so away you go. You go away too. They're adamant about having their head in the sand? Why? Wouldn't it be in your best interest to jump on that train? I guess I don't understand. I mean, like, I get it. You know, I live in a field where inertia is the name of the game. You know, everybody wants to just, like, do things their own way and the way that they were trained. There's no... Like, it's very difficult to get people, much less systems, to change. It's just hallucinating, has no creativity, and will always need people to direct it. I mean, that's... Yeah, I mean, that's, like, technically true, I guess, but, well, I mean, so? Like, what if, you know, ChatGPT can do 200 people's jobs? I mean, that's a huge deal. You know, maybe you should get on board with that. Yeah, it's in my server, yeah. Yeah, you showed me Midjourney. It's amazing. It's super cool that it can, like, generate a useful, accurate image off of, you know, just a couple prompts. Yeah, that's, the creativity thing is a big sticking point in the art community, right? Like, everybody's sort of up in arms about AI being able to create art. You know, I think a lot of artists are, like, probably legitimately worried that, you know, they're gonna be out of a job. Because, like, somebody who wants a cool painting to hang on their wall can just go online and, you know, if they have a decent printer, just print some shit out, right? Or go to, you know, FedEx and print a high-resolution image out and then go have it framed or something. Like, you don't necessarily need to go, you know, to a traditional, like, art fair or something. Already graphic artists on various sites complaining that their jobs become prompting Midjourney, yeah. Yeah, I mean, why would it not, right? Why would it not? Like, if you could just type shit into an AI prompt and get something comparable to what it would take you hours to do, then why would you not do that? I don't understand. Yeah, I mean, I know that sucks that it's, you know, like, they jerk or gerbs, right? A la South Park. But, sorry. I mean, that's where we're heading. Announcing layoffs of staff specifically due to AI productivity gains. Is that happening already? That's interesting. I'm surprised that that's turned around that quickly. Yeah, I mean, you gotta see that coming, right? Like, I'm sure that, you know, we've kind of talked about this before, like, I'm sure the job market will be revolutionized by AI. And it's gonna shake up a lot of stuff. Uh-oh. Boop. 16% job cut. Wow. Damn, 16%. The company's been profitable. Growth has slowed, though. However, we're really profitable, but we would like to be more profitable. Therefore, you don't have a job anymore. Strategically reinvest savings from the job cut. Okay. Yeah, that's a shitload of people. Yeah, 500 employees. Houston wrote that recent developments in the industry expanded the potential market and alerted competitors to the same opportunities. Yeah, I mean, they're gonna have to do that to keep up, right? That's just gonna become the norm. And again, like, if AI can, you know, just, like, pop that shit out in seconds, why do you have a whole team of people working on it? you know, it's going to be really interesting for, like, teachers. I mean, if you can get a pretty reasonable sounding research paper, just, like, generated from a prompt in an AI program, I mean, pure knowledge work is coming to an end. Yeah, probably so. Working on personalized education. Yeah, I mean, if you, like, I'm not saying that, like, education is gonna die, I'm just saying that it's gonna be very difficult to evaluate people based on homework anymore, right? Like, written work, it'll pretty much all have to be done. I mean, there'll be, you know, honor system kind of stuff, but otherwise, if you really want to control for that, it'll have to be done in sort of like a closed system, you know, in-class essay sort of format. Yeah, it'd be amazing if you could personalize education to everybody. That's one of the biggest reasons that I chose to send my kid to a private school, is their ability to just be like, oh, you're on this level? Yeah, just go do whatever. I mean, because that's what I did. Like, growing up, I was always kind of like, you know, I was into math, I was reading way better than most people. And, you know, there was a lot of talk of, like, moving me up a grade level, or even, like, 2 grade levels. But both my parents were teachers, and they were like, yeah, we're not gonna do that, because, like, 2 years when you're 7 years old is a big deal, right? Like, a 7-year-old is way different than a 9-year-old. Like, socially, emotionally, you know, developmentally, like, they're super different. But, you know, if you can, like, be with your peers and still, like, do the work, then, you know, do advanced work, then that's perfect. And yeah, if you could, like, if you could just absolutely tailor everything to everyone, you know, clearly that's, like, best case scenario, right? Oh, I'm level 13 already. So I could be using that if I had enough intelligence. Unfortunately, I am very stupid. I could already be using my in-game weapon. Alas. Grade levels not existing, you have a personal tutor who's more knowledgeable at every subject than any person. Yeah. Not bad, right? Not bad at all. That sounds amazing. And it sort of seems to me like that was kind of what people's hopes for the internet were, right? That was sort of the pie in the sky hopes that once we really got the internet online and rolling, that it'd just be like this limitless source of information. And it seems like we're kind of coming to that, you know, like, that's being realized. Let's see. Do I want the int or the dexterity? Kind of need both, right? What can I do to get a bunch of intelligence right now? That's not enough. 20 dex in it. There we are. Rock and roll. Let's see. And that'll actually help my cause for a while. Individual breakdown for each specific neuron. Poorly explained by a GPT-4. Shared last names. Let's see. Two girls, one cup, but how about something that won't kill your boner? Thai cum junkie devours. What is this? What the hell is this? Empty dead shopping malls surrounded by car parts. Okay. I guess I don't really know what I'm looking at right now. So it's every neuron will either fire or not fire for a given word. Okay. I see what you mean. So let's look at one of the oops. Okay, so there's more hits here. So what does this mean then? So that this is just like what it's like, it's the greener it is, like the darker green, the more it's like basing its result off of that information or that piece of it. Okay, so the I see. The explanation is references to text that includes numbers, scripture verses, dates. I see. One is strongest level. Okay, okay, so we've got the quantile range. So this is like super crazy ass strong. I got it. Okay, so I understand what what this is meaning now. Subjunctive verbs, often paired with personal pronouns. I got it. Okay. Yep. I am beginning to understand this. That's cool. Alright, let's equip my in-game weapon at level 13. I don't want that. I do want Ancestral Protector, though. Yeah, staff. Go bash some freaking heads. Yeah, that's all. Yeah, that is fucking cool. I love it. Yeah, I think the future is bright. The future is very bright for that. And having one of the you know, knowledge plus physical jobs that you mentioned definitely makes me happy. I'm glad to be there.
Your curse is over, Silent.
Even though the procedures that I do are not particularly complicated, it still takes a person to do them. And there's a lot of art to like surgery and anesthesia and stuff like that that, you know, you couldn't necessarily plug in and figure out. Like, you kind of just get a feel for certain circumstances and all of that, and that I don't think that's programmable. Maybe it is, though. I don't know. Maybe it is.
I return.
God, Infernal Blow is so slow. Fuck. Hop. Hop. Give me that experience, baby. Yeah, I'll be very interested to see how that affects like primary care. Like, cause I definitely have some thoughts on, you know, triage and that sort of thing, where patients just like don't come to the doctor. You have to use ChatGPT first. You plug in what the hell you're doing, you know, what your symptoms are. But I mean, you know, people are stupid, so they'll put the wrong information in and get all sorts of like ridiculous nonsense. But you know, maybe that'll prevent people from coming into the doctor and like unburden the healthcare system. I mean, the possibilities are huge. Super cool. Instead of showing up with heartburn, yeah. Heartburn's not the worst thing to go to the ER with, though. Like, at least, you know, that might be something super bad. But, like, I mean, you know this, though. You know, after having worked in the ER, like, people show up there for, like, pregnancy tests and bug bites and colds and stuff. It's just like, you know, if you could plug that in to your computer or your phone and just be like, oh, man, I feel like shit. What should I do? It's like, hey, dude, you have a cold. Take, you know, an antihistamine and, like, drink a lot of water and rest. Oh, you think you might be pregnant? Go to your health department. Get a pregnancy test for free. Like, don't sit in the emergency room. Ow. This guy won't leave me alone. Oh, those are both beasts. Okay. Of course they are. Yeah, I mean, it's definitely going to make, like, everything more efficient once we sort of nail down exactly how to use it, I feel like. Which is super exciting. That's really cool. I mean, this is kind of, like, on par with the invention of the computer, really, as far as I'm concerned. Dude, it's just like a revolutionary new tool that's gonna just change the way everything is done.
Your death had more honor.
I mean, maybe, you know, not in its current form necessarily. For like, you know, the first computer was, you know, not a whole lot more than a toy. It's just like an interesting tool to use for, you know, calculations and stuff.
I have seen one.
But now, you know, after 50 years of progress, it's refined into artificial intelligence. That can fuck off. Destroy that. And let's go back. Crossroads. Boop. 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 Oh, leap slam. You need to be faster. Might have to put a Praxis on. This shit costs less mana. How much does that cost currently? 11 mana? It's really not as much as I thought. It does seem to be draining my pool rather quickly. So yeah, whenever we kind of like get into these AI discussions, I always try to think about how that's going to make my life better. Which, I mean, it definitely will. Like, especially for, I mean, even something simple like a risk-benefit, like quantification. You know, like, so take this lady that we talked about, the heart surgery. Like, I could say, hey, ChatGPT, tell me what the percentage chance of an esophageal rupture in a lady with these symptoms is, given her age and, you know, current condition, like, what are the chances that I injure her esophagus with a transesophageal echocardiogram? Or, like, just plug that shit in, right? And that's like a very base, kind of uninteresting use for it, but, you know, that's, like, super helpful. It's like, that's a really specific question that, you know, maybe there's been a study done on that, probably not. And there might, like, be something sort of close to that with, like, you know, a GI study or something, like, but, you know, do I have time to troll for that in the heat of the moment? No. Do we have personal assistants? Not per se, but we have, like, a financial advisor, we have, you know, like an accountant, people who, like, do things like that for us. We do have a nanny too, actually, now. Kind of a part-time-ish nanny, but... So yeah, I guess it depends on what you consider a personal assistant. Not anybody full-time, but... Yeah, we definitely do farm out some pedestrian tasks where possible. It's the the benefit of being bougie. I think my wife actually wants to be a personal assistant. Set up appointments, haircuts, no. Schedule contractors, yeah, I do all of that. Yeah, there's nobody to, like, take care of our sort of, like, daily scheduling and stuff like that. We organize all of it. Just tell the thing to schedule it, and yeah, that's a great idea. Oh no, I got baited into the fucking fall side area. Boo. Yeah, scheduling is another great thing. I mean, there's good scheduling programs that exist, but, like, if you can do it all via one thing, that's huge. Yeah, I mean, it would definitely make running a business easier. Like, if we ever get back our, back to our IV business, man, that would be so nice. Just have it line that crap up and tell us what makes most sense. You know, have all of your scheduling and, like, data analytics and everything all in one place. So if you're, you know, I don't know, if looking for opening hours or something, you can just throw your, you know, your historic business in there, and, like, it just spits out the times that you should be open, like the optimal hours, like what your return on that investment will be. Yeah, like, that's an amazing tool to have. And that's just like, do I even want to bother with that? Probably not at this point. And I mean, to me, that's a fairly uninteresting use of AI, but it is very practical. Like, it's not at all creative, but that's probably most of what it'll be used for, right? Is, like, scheduling and, like, logistics types of things, because that's really what makes the world go round. It'll be much more useful for more complex systems, like, you know, large corporations and things like that, who have many people to schedule and meetings to do and deadlines to meet and stocking and staffing and all that kind of stuff. So hey, take it easy, man. Yeah, I will have a good one. Seems like I've stopped coughing, so that's definitely a leg. Oh, as I say that, step in the right direction. But yeah, take it easy, man. Have a good one. Peace out. Yeah, I'm very interested in seeing where the AI era leads us. Die. There you go. I always fear leaving this place without that golden hand. I do not like doing that. Because you gotta run all the way back there. There's no nearby waypoint. Oh, Book of Regrets. Lovely.
You and Thoreau.
I will take those regret points. Let's see. LA Focus. Got Purity. Fizz damage. Nope. That goes there. Precision. Where does Precision go? I don't have gloves. Why don't I have gloves? Do I have gloves that I can use? Probably not, right? Waitress tenure. Do I want to use that for a green slot? I guess it's better than not having gloves at all, right? What gloves would I want? Oh, I know. I know what I want. Maybe I don't. Am I tripping here? Hang on. Yeah. No, that totally exists. What the fuck? Why is it not coming up in trade? Highlight item. Oh, I'm searching bulk. Okay. Nobody's selling Lactonal Crest in bulk. Right. I swear I've done this before. Okay, Cass. Yep, there we go. That's all I need. Listed 15 days ago. Yeah, he's totally gonna respond. Okay. Time to start spamming people, I guess. Sure. I'll give you 3C for that. Cool. I do not have much chaos, do I? But that's okay. Thank you. Dance. Let's see. I guess I probably ought to manage my sockets here a little bit.
I cannot do this yet.
Okay, so I've got a couple blues, so maybe I'll leave that alone. Oh. Give me 4 sockets. Okay. That's probably alright for now. Maybe I will change this. What's that? Precision. What was this? Heavy strike? And Assassin's Mark. Okay. What's that? Rage? Sure. Go with Rage. Oh yeah, I need to switch into Praxis too, don't I? Can I wear a Praxis yet? No, it's level 22. Bummer. Okay. Oh, I'm not that far off though. Boom. Apply that point. Okay, so I'm now doing fire damage. Lots of it. Well, maybe not that much, but fair amount. Yeah, so at some point I guess I'm gonna need to switch my armor.
My mana is low.
Oh, definitely need a Praxis. Yikes. So yeah, what do you guys think about the AI stuff? I'm not, like, honestly, my world in terms of, like, what I know a lot about has narrowed dramatically, in recent times. So, I'm pretty much on top of anesthesia, and that's about it. So, like, as far as, like, advancements in other areas, This is more education than I've gotten in a long time. And I haven't really kept up that much with, like, what other people are doing. Like, what all of the creative types are kind of figuring out that can be done with AI. And I now that I think about it, I should probably, like, look into that, because it really does interest me a lot. That's totally my wheelhouse. Just, like, getting a new tool and fucking around with it. Seeing what I can come up with. And, like, taking, you know, finding somebody with, like, a cool idea and then experimenting with that myself and seeing what I can do. Yeah, that's totally how my mind works. Hey, you get back here. It'll certainly make, I bet, like, you could make studying notes with it and stuff. You'd probably feed a, you know, PowerPoint presentation into it and stuff, and it'll spit out, like, key points and whatnot. That, man, oh, it's so cool. It's so cool. Ever heard about Gemma AI? No, I haven't. It's PowerPoint AI? Oh yeah, I mean I figured that had to be like in the works, right? Makes sense. Let's see. I want to sell my shit to you. So how does that work? Like I'll look it up in just a second, but so you just kind of like upload a PowerPoint slide to it or something and it Gamma AI? Okay. Oh, he came here. Cool. There we go. Trade. I want your chaos. Ah, come on, dude. There we go. Little does he know that this is actually worse than a Astromantis. You tell them what your presentation is about? Oh, so it, like, builds your PowerPoint for you. Oh, shit, that's even better. Need dill... Oh, I level 84. Okay, bummer. Bummer, dude. We did not successfully trade. Yeah, that's super nice, though. Let's check it out. Welcome to the stream, by the way. Sign up for free. Sort of. Wait, what? It can be that simple? A pitch deck for building a colony on Mars. What the fuck? Oh my god, that's so cool. You hope in the future every enemy in a video game has an individual AI? Hey Ricardo, what's going on, man? I'm not treating you to any Grim Dawn today, unfortunately, but this is super cool. Wow. I might have to play with this. There are better ways to visualize this. Okay, so you can, like, refine it. That's so cool. Whoa, man, what a great idea. People are so much smarter than I am. I swear. I look at stuff like this and I'm just like, dude, there's no way I ever would have come up with that. Jesus. I mean, that's freaking brilliant. I wonder what the quality is like, though. I mean, I'm sure it'll, you know, it'll get rapidly better, but... yeah, that is just mind-blowing. Yeah, totally looking forward to seeing what comes out of that. Did I? No, I didn't finish that, did I? My abortive trade attempt cut this short.
I cannot do this yet.
But yeah, like I was saying, I feel like this is that's almost the end of like homework, right? I mean, the whole point of like writing a research paper is basically zero. It's sort of like the meta version of, you know, your math teacher always told you like, well, you're not gonna have a calculator on hand, so you need to be able to do these calculations. Like, you need to add this. Like, well, guess what? Now everybody has internet access in their pocket, and that turned out to be total bullshit. Not to say that like mental math is not useful, but you know, perhaps the skill of writing a research paper is not going to be a particularly useful one. Or being able to like look up and synthesize, you know, arcane knowledge. I mean, obviously you need to be able to like read something and interpret it, and, like have some sort of like, you know, critical reading skills. But like how it's going to be really difficult to justify that to students. And I'm not really sure how you communicate that, frankly. Other than just like, oh well, you have to do it. You've got to do this calculus because we say so. Okay. Yeah, even though we're probably not like, you know, a year or two away from having a like portable version of some sort of AI program that'll, you know, do whatever you want. Like, remember, you used to pay monthly for the internet, right? You paid by the hour of usage. Kind of sounds insane now, right? That was not long ago. That was like 30, you know, 25 years ago. And now it's just like ubiquitous. It's like kind of a pain in the ass if you can't get internet access, right? Anytime you want. Like high quality, high speed internet access. It's just everywhere. Warlord's Mark, here Lash. Boop, 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 boop. Can I use it, please? Yeah, pick that up.
Travel far.
Oh, it's so slow. Jesus Christ. I haven't used a slam skill in a long time. This is excruciating. It does hit hard, though. I felt like I kind of had to play this build, though, because, like, Pillar of the Cage God has always sort of been an interesting gadget item, but now that you can get the Crucible trees on it that essentially, like, double the damage and do a bunch of really, like, kind of insane shit for this particular weapon, I was like, I gotta give it a shot. And I've always liked Tectonic Slam. I think it's a super cool skill. I am excited to be able to use it. You jerk-offs. Stop hitting me. Oh, I wonder if I can kill stuff with Leap Slam. Yep, sure can. That's interesting. Not level 22 yet. He's using mana so fast. Is it Height Shield for 5 Chaos? Yeah, sure. I'll interrupt what I'm doing for 5C. It's fine. I do not have many Chaos. I almost had 60 more. That dude freaking bailed on me. Jerk. I get it though. I've done that before. If you're watching my stream, friend, I don't hate you, I promise. Wow, that went for 5 chaos. That's the shield that my elementalist used to use. That is a good freaking shield for 5C. I didn't really notice it because I just like changed the names of the tabs that they're in, like, you know, to be a different price. Shit. That's a steal for 5C. I can't believe that didn't go earlier. I think I actually found that shield when I was leveling my League starter. Oh yeah, I need to make videos for 2 characters that I've done. Oh well. These things sort of fall by the wayside when you've got a screaming infant. That's actually the biggest reason I haven't been streaming, is just grabbing sleep wherever I can. Free time basically comes directly out of sleep these days, so. My wife has been generous enough to allow me to sleep. Yay, join my party. Woo. But yeah, she's been generous enough to like let me sleep for the most part, knowing that I actually have a fairly high intensity job. But I am sort of taking advantage of her good graces by doing this. But, you know, mental health is worth a fair bit. And contrary to most, you know, people who like stream for a living, who seem to have pretty huge mental health issues, this is actually sort of relaxing for me. It's kind of nice to talk through stuff that I just find interesting, because I don't really get much time to do that. I can sometimes do it at work, but definitely not at home. We're wrangling a couple kids, one of whom is basically total care at the moment. I have a 5-month-old. She is feisty. And maybe she'll learn through AI. It's so weird. It's so weird to think about. Like, I'm just picturing, like, my son is super into Wall-E, so I just picture the by and large, like, corporate indoctrination classrooms. Where they're, like, teaching the little babies, like, their alphabet. Like, B is for by and large. C is for cheap prices. Right. Talk to Vestal for my reward. I don't think I will right now. I will continue bashing heads out here in this forest. So, you know, I was thinking, like, I'm really glad that I get to do... So I work at kind of like a medium-sized community hospital. And generally speaking, in healthcare, the, like, crazy, huge, complex, like, medical problems are generally at, like, major academic centers. But we get a fair amount of, like, really sick people where I work. Most of it is kind of bread and butter stuff, you know, like people having total joints, like their knees replaced, hernia repairs, gallbladders, you know, stuff like that. But we do, like, some neurosurgery, we do hearts, and it's kind of nice to, like, but I feel like I didn't waste my training. Like, I was always going to go into private practice, because academic medicine is just trash. It pays less, and it's just, like, really difficult to, like, get ahead in, basically, and you do a lot of extra work. You have to teach lectures, and there's much more office politics, generally speaking, and, you know, the 20% pay cut is not good. But, you know, it is cool to do, like, really use your skills and all the knowledge that you've acquired. But you know, at what price victory, right? It wasn't worth all of that to me by any stretch of the imagination. So it's nice to be in a place where we do actually kind of do pretty intense cases from time to time. Ah. Baited. Baited into the Vol area. Some bitch. The Weaver's Nest. I'll fuck you up, Weaver. Oh yeah, I forgot there's multiple phases to this. Oh yeah, I have Rage. Oh, cool. That is not generating Rage very fast. That's not going to be super useful to me. Ow. Damn. Alright, Weaver. Alright. I see you. I see you. Yeah, let's get out of this bitch. Oh, did I get the waypoint there? I don't think I got the waypoint there. Oh, I did. Nice. Let's go kill Alira. Where is she? Where are you, Alira? Down here? Which is usually by this Stonehenge thing, right? Man, I don't know my level layouts at all. I should probably figure that out. I've been playing this game long enough. I should know basic things like that. Oh, come on. Ah, there she is. Okay. Hello. I'm going to kill you. No, hey, don't run away. I just want to infernal blow you. Is that so wrong? There we are. Thank you. Now, go back to town. And then we're gonna go here.
I cannot do this yet.
Now, I wonder when AI is gonna kind of like make its way into schools. 'Cause it really seems like individualized technology has been very slowly adapted. Like, you know, we don't really, I mean, like, my kid goes to a pretty expensive private school, and like they don't have, you know, like iPads for them or anything like that. You know, like personal tablets that they can use. And there's not a lot of like tech integration, I guess. I mean, they do have, you know, like a programming class and stuff like that, which is nice, but, you know, it seems like that would be a bigger focus than it is, and I guess I'm not sure why it isn't. I mean, right now, clearly, it's not like, for him, it's probably not that important because he's 6, but, you know, later on, it seems like it'd be a good idea to be able to, like, program that stuff. And... Ah! Thank you, Oak.
Your reign is over, Bandit King.
Your reign is over, Bandit King. Damn, that was a big explosion. That was very satisfying. I think I probably need a Grand Life Flask, actually. So thanks for that. Where are the roots? I just want to stab this tree. Please let me stab the tree. But I'll groove while I find it. I guess it's way down here, huh? Oh, there it is. Jesus, that was way out of the way. Stabby, stabby. Alright, I think it's time for me to go to sleep, because who knows what the night will hold. Thank you guys very much for hanging out with me. It was fun. Good talk. Heart surgery? AI? That's the kind of weird shit you get in this stream. So thanks again for hanging out. I will do my best to be back on, what is today? Is today Wednesday? I'll do my best to be back on Sunday. No, I won't, because I'm on call Sunday. Do my best to be back next Wednesday. Maybe a time in between that, because my in-laws will be in town, so I'll have a little bit extra free time during the nights. So I don't know, maybe Saturday night or something. We'll see. We will see. But I hope you had a good time, and join Discord if you haven't. I appreciate you hanging out. Thanks for your support. Cheers. Have a great rest of your week.